बैंगलोर बैंगलोर 5 विन के साथ है भाई. हो सकता है अभी भी.
I think they're going to finish seventh or eighth. I think,
Really?
yeah, I have no faith, zero faith in them. People, and rightly so. People are talking about Virat and Virat's form and all those things. But if you look at, and that was a big concern, obviously, because क्या बोलते हैं, you need that little bit of luck, and the first mistake he was making, he was getting out. It's a क्या बोलते हैं, didn't look in rhythm at all. 0 of 1, 0 of 1. You can't even look at rhythm or anything of that sort. But the last match that he played, he looked really good against Gujarat Titans, and that is not an easy bowling attack to play. Of
58 or
course,
50.
no. I'm not. See. Virat cost RCB the match. There is no denying that. But sometimes a batsman needs that kind of runs under his belt, so this could be a platform, or it could be one of those very cost his team the match. So how I am looking at it is, if in the next 2 or 3 matches he carries on, he builds on this, then I don't mind that 58 or 53. But if he, again gets back to those ducks or those low string of low scores, then he has cost his side 2 points because.
I'm sure you can say he has cost this much because it took 19.3 overs for them to chase it.
Yeah, absolutely, and he will be
They
the
should
first
have
one
more
to
20
accept
more
that.
runs.
Yeah, he'll be the first one to accept that. There is no running away from that. But how many knocks like these has he played in the last, what? You can even go back to 10 years. The kind where you think, oh, it's a selfish innings.
Selfish. Yeah.
So,
I don't remember much.
so exactly. So I think that he needed that desperately. And so I think वो थोड़ा, और मैं कोहली fan भी हूँ, तो I'll be a little lenient there. But I think Faf, क्या बोलते हैं, he hasn't built on his form. He started very well, then big dip, again scored 90, then big dip. So because Virat is struggling so bad that दूसरों का इतना दिख नहीं रहा हमें. So I think if क्या बोलते हैं, if Kohli scores, then well and good. You are going to get those 160, 170 scores. But we need that 180, 190. I, at the start of the season, I said that RCB has the best bowling attack. I still stick to it, but I think we have one of the worst batting lineups now. I have zero faith in them. They're all struggling for form, and they're all doing it together, and that is never a good sign when you're going into the back end of the tournament.
मेरे को क्या लग रहा है कोहली के साथ क्या हो रहा है टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ लाइक 2015 2016 धोनी के साथ जो हो रहा था राइट आई मीन ही वाज देयर बट ही वाज नेवर द धोनी दैट वी न्यू वो मतलब आके स्ट्रगल कर रहा है सिंगल नहीं जा रहा है इधर उधर बाउंड्री स्कोरिंग एज अ फैन मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि कहाँ मारेगा भाई बाउंड्री एक मतलब ही जस्ट हैज वन रिलीज शॉट ओवर मिड विकेट जो स्लॉग है उसका उसके अलावा राइट नाउ विद कोहली आल्सो व्हेन आई लुक एट हिम जब पावर प्ले नहीं रहता तो आई थिंक कहाँ मारेगा ये बाउंड्री. Don't you get that impression उसको देख के?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he needs that 2 or 3 consistent scores. That क्या बोलते हैं, ऐसा 40 of 20 हो, या ऐसा जैसा पंजाब के अगेंस्ट फर्स्ट मैच हम स्टेडियम गया था, so we were the Kohli is back, यहाँ से तो अब तो आओ कोई भी. Took on spin very well, पेसर्स को चार्ज करके डाउन द ग्राउंड मार रहा था, मिड विकेट पे एक्स्ट्रा कवर के ऊपर शॉट्स मारा उडीन को वगैरह, एंड देन दो सडन डिप अगेन. सो उसको भी वो स्ट्रिंग ऑफ स्कोर्स चाहिए जहां उसको लगता है कि हाँ यार ये अभी ठीक है. Because even the 58 or 53, he'll think, अरे यार यहाँ तो मैं टीम को बेच दिया. So he needs that. I don't think he's finished वगैरह. I don't think.
No, not finished. But I don't think now, that one point वो trajectory था कि, all GO8 मतलब best of all time. Maybe he's maybe lagging on that. Maybe he won't score 100 or whatever. But yeah, he's not finished for sure, man. I mean, Dinesh Karthik comeback कर सकता है तो ये तो.
So yeah, 2-3 players about RCB. We are where we are because of RCB, because of Dinesh Karthik, to be very honest. So उसके बारे में क्या कहना?
Kohli needs to rediscover himself. I think like he needs a few more shots. If you think over the years उसके कौन से shot, I mean I know we are delving a little bit more here, but Virat Kohli उस पे बात कर सकता है I guess. Like over the years उसके shot कौन से रहे? Like extra cover drive है, front foot flick है through the mid wicket region. like boundary scoring shots, he needs a couple more. He probably might need a sweep shot
हाँ,
or
see, क्या बोलते हैं,
barrel
he
shot.
never had that 360 game या जो भी है वो सब, वो उसका कभी गेम था भी नहीं. So when you are not scoring too many, so वो सब जो उसका minor issues है वो highlight ज्यादा होगा. That is obviously normal. But yeah, obviously leg spin के against in the middle overs he needs to. I think he started off very well. He tried against I think Mumbai Indians के against भी spin को अच्छा खेला. Even against Punjab he played spin well. In the other matches he क्या बोलते हैं, 5 2 3 बॉल खेलेगा तो वहाँ स्पिन कहाँ से खेलेगा, तो तू आते ही जा रहा है, तो वहाँ थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम. He needs to spend some more time in the middle, and I think that happened. This innings should have helped in that, and hopefully he builds on that, because he knows that if he plays like this, he's going to cost his team more matches than not.
Do you like him
So
opening?
yeah, absolutely love that. I thought that should have done right from the beginning. But in the training sessions, they saw something in Anuj Rawat, and fair enough, the captain makes the call, and he thought Rawat. But I thought Kohli has to be straight in, especially when you have the likes of Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik, and all of them down the order. Kohli has to be opening, because, as you mentioned, his क्या बोलते हैं, game again in the after the power play, he has struggled. He goes about 100 strike rate. So in the power play, peak Kohli, or at least close to peak Kohli, he scores at 150. Even last season, he scored at 150 in the power play, at a strike rate of 150 in the power play, and then the strike rate dipped to 90, 100 in the middle overs. So if you want to make you best use of Kohli, then bring him on in the power play.
Yeah. Just last point. Do you like in the long run, right? I mean, I'm reading some stuff, hearing some stuff with like people saying कि Virat Kohli does he make the T20 World Cup?
Yeah, 100%. I क्या बोलते हैं, for the Indian team, for the Indian plane to Australia, he's my क्या बोलते हैं, go-to guy. I think he'll have a very good. I'm not worried too much about that. I'm worried about the 7 matches that are coming up, but I'm not worried about anything after that, because
No, I
he's
mean
too
it's
good
a
to.
serious concern. Next 7 matches, if he scores 100 runs total, तो वो फिर concern है, क्योंकि there are other players. अभी हार्दिक पांड्या नंबर 3 पे अच्छा खेलेगा, तो obviously the other things will pop up, right? Like
Yeah. See, it is a concern. It is a big concern for every Indian cricket fan, because he's been your go-to guy for more than a decade. So it's not like हम 1-2 साल का बात नहीं कर रहे कि क्या बोलते हैं, he has been our best batter for since he 2011 World Cup के बाद, or maybe even he came into the World Cup as the #1 rank. But I know it doesn't mean too much. But what I'm saying is he has been that consistent over that for that long now. So obviously it is a matter of concern, but the fanboy in me wants to think that yes, he'll overcome this, and the run of the big scores are on the way.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think RCB is going to finish? We forgot about RCB.
I think they'll make it, man. I have a feeling they'll make the top 4.
I have zero faith in that. See, as a bowling group, I think they are one of the best, if not the best, because in Siraj has been a major letdown for me. He's been awful. He has been rubbish. He's been as awful as Virat with the bat. So when you have two of your retentions playing as bad as they have been, you are going to struggle. When we had won 5 out of the first 7. We knew at that time that it was going to be a big concern if Kohli doesn't score, and it has. क्या बोलते हैं, we've been proved right. Siraj as well. If he does not pick up form, if he keeps the field that the captain sets for him and the balls that he bowls, क्या बोलते हैं, कोसों दूर है दोनों. He has had good matches. I'm not saying no, but when your captain's go-to bowler retention वगैरह हुआ है, lead bowler वगैरह है, so he has to be performing better.
They might look beyond him. I mean, they have a Siddharth Kaul who can
Yeah.
take his place.
So
It's slowing down, slower balls might
नहीं,
work.
exactly. क्या बोलते हैं, you have to back your main players to come good. It's like you can't drop Virat because he's been scoring duck after duck. So
I don't think Siraj is Virat level, man.
not
Siraj
Virat level, but because of the retention, you can say that
doesn't
okay, they are
doesn't-
backing
I
him.
don't think it matters.
Yeah.
क्या
Oh, even Samad was retained, and then he hasn't played a match after the first two. So yeah, I don't see them in the top four. I see them seventh or eighth. Best case scenario, fifth. Because if you look at net run rate is going to play a part, and they have the worst net run rate in the league. I think for the ones who are competing for the top four at least. I think Mumbai might have the worst one because, but they've lost 8 in a row and they have that minus 0.8 or something, and RCB have minus 0.57 by losing 5. So I think that is also a big concern. You're not going to cover that up. So yeah, I don't see them in the top four. Kohli gets an extra week of rest. That is the only positive that looking at it from that point.
See, next is Delhi Capitals, number 6.
I think they are probably one team where you look at and think, I thought कि ये हो सकते हैं fourth, because if you look at the matches that they've lost, ऐसा कोई match नहीं है जहाँ we have thought, oh, they've been completely outplayed, horrible match. Maybe they had one. I don't think so. I think RCB से 10-15 run से हारे. आज again they lost by 5 or 10 runs. Even in the beginning they lost a few, but they had the COVID scare in their camp as well. They lost by 15-20 runs against Rajasthan. So ऐसा कोई 50-40, 40-50 run margin या 7-8 wickets से हारे, ऐसा कोई match हुआ नहीं. So I think they have lost those small margins a lot, and I think थोड़ा late है वो recover का. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, उनका team देख के मेरे को लगता है यार, they are really strong. Like Prithvi Shaw, David Warner opening, Pant in the team, Powell.
Even Mitchell Marsh he was brilliant today. If that he review ले लेता तो शायद जीत भी जाते हैं match. So क्या बोलते हैं? I thought he was brilliant, and the number 3 spot is perfect for him. I think that their bowling is slightly weak. Apart from Kuldeep, I don't see a bowler that you think can go, oh, he can really save them. Because if you look at Mustafizur, is not the same Mustafizur. Shardul Thakur was never a proper bowler. It's like वो 50% थोड़ा बैटिंग में दे देगा, 50 इधर दे देगा करके तुम उसको टीम में रख सकते हो, sort of guy. Even Sakaria is not that kind of guy. So Akshar has been decent, but still, not the X factor that you would want. Kuldeep has been absolutely brilliant, and I think they have won 4 matches and he's been man of the match in all 4. So that really tells you a story. It's like Punjab the last 3 seasons. If they win, it's Rahul man of the match sort of.
They are not playing Nokia, right? He's not injured.
No, he's not injured, but he's still not 100% fit from that injury. So, क्या बोलते हैं? 50-50 call hai. He played once. He got torn apart by Lucknow batters. They scored some 40-50 of him in 3 overs or something like that. Bowled a terrible no ball as well. 2 terrible no balls as well. Head high. So he wasn't in rhythm, and since then they've been trying to build his match fitness. So I think it's a little too late for them to catch up, but I still back them for if some top 4 team comes out. I think this could be the team that jumps right in.
I think this one is a very important season for Rishabh Pant. I think what he did in that match blew his chances as an India captain in the future. That was horrible to send that Praveen Amre on the field and stuff like that. So I think उसका काफी ripple factor होगा बड़ा.
See, I think क्या बोलते हैं, वो जो last 1 week उनका रहा था, the COVID cases in their camp, the Ponting's family member testing positive, Marsh, then Seifert, and all those things. I think it was a क्या बोलते हैं, reaction to all those happening behind the scenes. That 1 week must have been terrible, and the bubble life is always obviously terrible as well. So he's young, he'll make mistakes. So I think we shouldn't read too much into that, and I hope the selectors and all those people don't read too much into that. Of course, it was wrong. Yeah. As a leader, obviously, it was wrong. Kohli's made mistakes, Dhoni's made mistakes. They all make mistakes. Dhoni came onto the pitch as well, so it's not like
he came onto the pitch after 15 years of successful captaincy.
So that cannot be an excuse, right? You can't say
I'm
that you have
saying,
been.
see, if you're a selector,
If
you're
you're building a
long term.
reputation, yeah, obviously
This
it's wrong.
hurts. Dhoni has
Hmm.
nothing to lose, man. He's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
retired.
That is obviously true, but I think we should give him a little bit of leeway there. I wouldn't read too much into it, and also I think the umpires should be fined
Yeah, I
for
agree.
some of the
So why
decisions that
not
they
check?
take.
Why not
Yeah,
check?
exactly. They check for those terrible front foot calls or whatever. The yesterday they checked for the keeper's hand being ahead of the stump because they had to check for a review. Otherwise, they would not have checked, and then that resulted into an over. So if
But
you are
I think
going to do all these
the
things,
law says they only check in case of a wicket.
yeah,
That's what the law
exactly.
says.
So the rules are wrong. The umpires have some horrible off days, and nobody says a thing. If a player by chance if he even says a word, he'll be fined 15% left, right, and center. They charge 15 lakhs for slow over rate. But I don't think anyone says a word if an umpire has a terrible day in the office. Fine them also, no 10%, because you got these many decisions wrong or whatever. You can see clear wide calls not being given. You need that little margins to go your way. You have technology, why not use? So I think we have to consider even the commentators. They went after punt left, right, and center. They didn't say a word about the no ball. So talk about that decision as well. Should the umpires be fined? Should the umpires be asked to explain their decisions? Something
नहीं,
where
I think
they
the rule is wrong,
you
man.
have to
If your
take.
front foot का नो
Exactly,
बॉल अगर ऊपर वाला देख रहा है थर्ड अंपायर, तो ये भी उसको ही देखने दो ना. क्यों अंपायर को
absolutely.
खड़े रखो ऐसे ही शो के लिए? क्यों give him so much power, right?
Yeah, exactly.
एम्बिग्युइटी की
Completely.
चाहिए. उसके
Hmm.
डिस्क्रिप्शन पे वो नो बॉल है नहीं है, तो है टेक्नोलॉजी, why not use it?
Exactly, completely agree with that. So I think absolutely there's no defending what Pant and the Delhi management did, but I
I
think they
don't really
should be.
care what he did. I'm just saying
Hmm.
कि ठीक है वो, I don't
उसका
even
reputation पे hurt हो सकता
it
है in
as
the
a big
future.
deal. ठीक है आ गया पिच पे तो क्या हुआ?
True,
But
true.
I think for him in the Indian setup, it's a big issue. Now उसको कैप्टनसी देना इंडिया का, that always will be in their minds as selectors, कि
True.
unstable है whatever.
Yeah, true. Fair. Hopefully they give him a good shot. Yeah, let's see.
Yep.
Who's next?
So next is Punjab Kings.
I don't see them in the top four, to be very honest.
सार्थक की जरा.
नहीं मैं उसको भी बोला हूँ मतलब because these teams the same thing that I said about RCB as well. There are too many players who are inconsistent in the side at this point of time for them to think okay, we are going to go on a run where we win 4 or 5 of the next 5 or 6 matches. I don't see that happening at all, because if you see Mayank hasn't really set the tournament ablaze. Then if you look at Rajapaksha was in and out of the side, though he played well whenever he played. Livingston has been brilliant, but in the last game they were 90 out for 2 in 12 overs, chasing 148 or 150, and they lost that match. You can't be losing matches like that if you want to finish in the top four. Same with RCB as well. 140, if you're not chasing 140 on any pitch, doesn't matter if it's a turning track as if it's turning square, you have to be chasing that kind of targets down. So I think that so I don't see them and even there, if you look at who comes in at 6, Rishi Dhawan came in at 6.
On the in the previous match, yes.
Yeah, so that is something. And
Jitesh Sharma.
Jitesh Sharma came in at 6. Yeah, he played well. He has played well this tournament, obviously, but I think there's too much inconsistency in that side to finish in the top four. What do you
I
think?
think I agree. I don't see them in the top four either. उनका firepower is
Abdullah
missing.
Sarthak को.
I mean, मैं तो पहले से बोल रहा हूँ उनके they lost it in the auction only. Firepower ही नहीं है. Finisher, who is the finisher here? Liam Livingston के बाद the next 5 batsmen, I don't think 8 run per over भी they will be able to manage.
They had Shahrukh, but the team balance was getting iffy. The fifth bowler नहीं मिल रहा था उनको. Odin started conceding left, right, and center. So I think Shahrukh के जगह उन्होंने I think ऋषि धवन को लिया so that batting depth बड़ा हो. But वो X factor उनको अब तक मिला नहीं है. If they get a play, see they have क्या बोलते हैं match winners all throughout. If you look at ऐसा कोई अगर लिविंगस्टन या धवन बोले कि if they have 3 or 4 matches like Livingston had in the beginning of the tournament, जहाँ I think he was man of the match in 2 or 3 matches, Chennai के against फोड़ा, then even against Gujarat Titans वो फोड़ा, where they needed 12 off 2 and Tewati Amara. वो मैच में भी they played, so Livingston can do that. I think Livingston is probably the X factor. If something has to happen from their end, I think it will be
I think
Livingston.
one person missing here is Bersto, man. Bersto is a really
Bairstow,
good
yeah,
player, but
yeah.
at what number he's coming, I don't think it's good for him.
He
Man, I
hasn't
need to
stepped up.
open at 3
Yeah.
and let Bersto open maybe.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that will happen.
yeah. Even they need something, some spark from one of their players, like with RCB as well. Virat, Faf, Maxwell. These are three high quality players. They can win matches on their own. So if they come to life, then yeah, they have a chance. But otherwise, I don't, because they. It's not about क्या बोलते coming to life. It's about having those consistent big scores, which I don't see happening for both these sets.
Yeah, tough है, tough है. I mean, yeah, I think थोड़ा team combination में भी issue है because Bersto, Dhawan opening and Liam Livingston somewhere in the middle. अच्छा
Hmm.
team है वैसा है, but
Hmm.
थोड़ा
Yeah, they have to try something, or maybe some of these players need to have some mad games. Otherwise, I don't see them finishing in the top four.
yeah.
Probably seventh or eighth with RCB, to be honest.
RCB के तो पीछे पड़ा है तू साले.
बे- क्या बात है तू देख ना. You see Maxwell's form, Faf's form, Virat's form. Patidar played well, yes, but is he a
Yeah, I
player
know.
that you look at and say, "वो ये है ना"? Dinesh Karthik, start of the season, yes. After that, even he has dropped off a little bit. Not too much, obviously. He didn't have too many overs to bat as well. But still, there is a drop off. He didn't, क्या बोलते हैं? His weakness against leg spin, some teams have tried to recognize that as well. Shahbaz has been very good. The bowling department, I think, has done very well, but the batting department has let RCB down.
Yep.